What is going on YouTube? We are back here today on the Fumble Pod. Got a jam-packed episode yet again, like we do every Thursday. We got NFL, we got college. Talk a little bit about the bracket going on here. If you're new around here, I am your host Dalton Lee. Let's just jump right on into it, all right? Last week's NFL picks were a little. We went 500, so now trying to get back on track. We're trying to have a positive week. We want to be positive. We want the gambling. If any of you partake that, if you do it responsibly and be old enough. We're trying to get back on the winning side. We want to make some money around here. So we're going to jump right on into it. We got several good games to talk about, and then we're going to jump into our somewhat decent of college slate, if you will. So tonight, Thursday Night Football, we have the Bills at the Texans. Bills are opening up as 5.5 point favorites, which makes sense. They're coming off a pretty good week. And for the Texans, it's Davis Mills starting yet again. CJ Stroud's not going to play due to him, I believe, still being in concussion protocol. So that's going to make a big difference. Granted, Davis Mills hasn't looked that bad. I mean, again, Texans have good weapons. They've had solid run game. We've expected them to at least be solid, especially with that good of a defense. But then we look at the Bills. I mean, Josh Allen is top two quarterback talent-wise in the league. James Cook running all over people. I do think the Bills are going into this game with momentum, something to prove. They want to get back into the conversation not only for a top team in the AFC, but best team in their division. They got the Patriots that are outplaying everybody in that division. So they got to come out and make statement wins and just continue to roll. And I think they're going to do that again tonight in Houston. I got the Bills winning 31-24. I'm taking the Bills outright. Give me the 5.5. Let's roll. Bills Mafia. Then 1 o'clock, we got Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Chicago. Play the Bears. Bears having a pretty good year. 7-3. A bit of a shocker. Granted, Steelers 6-4. Bears are favored 2.5 points right now. The question mark is Aaron Rodgers going to play? And if he does, how effective is he going to be? He hurt his left wrist last game. Said he didn't need surgery. He's got some type of stabling device on it that's supposed to help with the pain, keep it from moving around too much, causing too much discomfort. But, with all this being said, I feel like the Bears at times can be a little fluky. I think they've had some things go their way, which there's nothing wrong with. Sometimes teams that win a lot have to get lucky. Some games, you're going to outplay your opponent and you deserve to win those games. Some games you just get lucky. You get a ball to bounce your way. You get a late turnover that favors your team, so on and so forth. And you got to take them. You just have to take them. There's nothing that you can do to complain about that, not one bit. So, with all this being said, I don't know if the luck's going to keep going for the Bears in this game or if it's going to kind of take a pause because we all know Aaron Rodgers. He owns the Bears. He is a minority owner. Not literally, but on the field, he owns them. I want to say in his career, he's only lost maybe 4 games to the Bears, if that. So whether it was a question that Aaron was going to play or not, Aaron is going to play. It's just something about the Bears he does not like. Him being a longtime Packer, he can't stand it. He owns them. So I got Pittsburgh winning this game straight up. Give me the Steelers. Cover spread, win outright, 24-21. I don't think they're going to blow them out. I think it's going to be a gritty, close game. I do still think the Bears have too much talent to get blown out per se. But I do think the Steelers are going to be able to make 1 or 2 more plays defensively to be able to get a stop, a turnover, something to kill late game momentum for the Bears and seal that win for Pittsburgh getting out of Chicago. The other 1 o'clock game, the Indianapolis Colts are traveling to Kansas City. Colts coming off a bye. Kansas City coming off of yet another loss. They're 500 on the year. Kansas City right now is 3.5 point favorites at home. And honestly, right now, only thing that concerns me with the Chiefs, they're not very consistent at stopping the run, which is what the Colts want to do. They want to run the ball. They want to run it very effectively. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is having a phenomenal year. Leads the league in rushing. Leads the league in rushing touchdowns. I mean, he is on pace to probably be the offensive player of the year. It's either going to be him or Seahawks wide receiver JSN. So with that being said, I think Colts game plan early is going to get the ball to Jonathan Taylor early and often, get their run game established, and open up an easy passing game for Daniel Jones. When he's got a run game going, he's got some play action work in, some quick game, he is very effective. Even when you get him in the running game, he is very effective. They got to find a way to get him into a groove early, get him settled down. And if they can keep the Chiefs on their toes, well, I say on their toes, on their heels, more so, playing more reactive than proactive. What I mean by that is you don't want Chiefs to know what you're going to do. You want to keep your offense on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, where you can run the ball, you can throw the ball, you can play some misdirection on them. If you get Chiefs in 3rd and 8, Spagnuolo's going to call a blitz. He's going to put pressure on your quarterback, make turnovers happen. You got to keep the defense guessing. And if they can do that, keep them on their heels, Colts will have a very good, very effective day. And the best thing is, run game travels very well. Doesn't matter if it's in a dome, 80-degree weather, 40-degree weather. It travels well. This time of year in Kansas City, it's getting pretty chilly. It's getting pretty chilly. So I like the Colts in this one. Give me the Colts 28-24, cover the spread, and win outright. I just think something with this Colts team, they've been a lot more consistent than the Chiefs have. Chiefs have been very up and down, whether it's offense has been good or defense has been good. I feel like they have yet to put together a full game outside of the Raiders game, but again, that's the Raiders. What do you expect? Everybody has good games against the Raiders this day and age. So give me the Colts outright. Then we're jumping into the only 4 o'clock game that I think is going to be very entertaining. At 4:25, I'm pretty sure this is going to be Fox's game of the week. We have Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Jerry World, playing the Cowboys. Eagles are opening up as 3.5-point favorites. I think rightfully so, because they have a lot more things trending in the right direction in terms of the defense is still playing phenomenal. I think the offense somewhat is starting to get it together. I'm not saying they're juggernauts like they were last year, but it's starting to get back together. And the Cowboys, I'm still not 100% sold on their defense. I understand they made moves to get better, and a lot of these guys are still trying to mesh with each other. Quinnen Williams still trying to mesh with the scheme. Logan Wilson, Overshown, who's coming back from injury. All these guys are trying to mesh together. And I think, Dallas plays in a dome, so we can't blame weather for how this game's going to go. I think the real difference is going to be the defenses, and the Eagles have a better defense. I believe in their defense more than I do the Cowboys. But I still think it's going to be a little high scoring. I just think the Eagles are going to be able to get pressure on Dak, be able to maybe get a turnover or two. So I'm taking the Eagles 31-28. But I do like the Cowboys cover to keep it close. I think it's going to come down to the wire, which for the most part these games do. They're normally one possession, keep it close, keep it entertaining. I'm going to take the Eagles in this one. I think if there was a game for Saquon to have a breakout and actually get rolling, it would be this one for sure. Take advantage of still trying to integrate linebackers in there, younger defensive line. But you got to run to the outside. Don't run towards Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams. That's just not going to go well. You got to get to the outside, which when Saquon gets to the outside, that's when things get scary. Then on Sunday Night Football, we have Tampa Bay Bucks traveling to Los Angeles, playing the Rams. Rams are opening up as 7-point favorites, which, again, I don't blame them. The Rams have probably top 3 offense, top 3 defense in terms of efficiency, yards, turnovers, points, you name it. Again, like we've been saying all year, one of the younger defenses that has been phenomenal at all 3 levels, and then an offense that truly is just able to pick their matchups and win. If they got to run the ball 30 plus times, they're going to do it. If Stafford's got to go out there and sling for 300 yards and get Puka and Devontae and even guys out of the backfield the ball and pick and pop them, he's doing it. He's playing at MVP level. Kyra Williams, very good. Blake Corum, solid backup. And even if they get off to a slow start, this Rams defense is phenomenal. They're able to pick up a little bit of slack until the offense can get something going. Maybe even get a turnover to put them in a good spot to score. And with the Bucks, they're getting kind of stagnant. They started out the season, 4-1. Since then, they're 6-4 now. They've hit some rough patches. The defense, Looks like it can be picked apart very easily. We just saw Josh Allen do it last week. I mean, Josh Allen by himself had 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. He had a phenomenal game. They haven't really stopped the run that well. The pass passing game has not been great in terms of defending. When you look at Baker and them, they are putting up points. They are only getting healthier. But I feel like this is going to be one of the better defenses that the Bucs have played in a couple weeks. And I think they're just going to run into another brick wall. Granted, this is the last tough game for the Bucs before they get to the back half of their schedule. So even to come out of this 6-5, with the way the division's looking, it's not the end of the world. But I do think the Bucs are going to run to another brick wall. They'll still put up some points, but they're not going to do nothing crazy. I do think the final score is going to be 38-28. I think Stafford, Devontae, Puka are going to have really good days. I think Kyron Williams is going to have a really good day. I think it's just going to be, if you got Rams player on offense in fantasy, I think they're going to put up some decent points. Truly. There's nobody that can really guard their 1-2 punch on the outside. Kyron Williams and the offensive line are meshing really well. And Stafford's just out here slinging that rock. What more can you say? So yes, Rams by 10. I'll take the 7.5 or 7 easily. Give me the Rams. Now we get to Monday Night Football, and I'm actually somewhat excited for this game, which is weird to say as somebody who I try to be unbiased in all this, but I do still root for my Carolina Panthers. You know, at first when you look at the schedule, you're like, oh, we got to go to Santa Clara in November. I mean, who knows? And at the start of the year, I was like, oh, we're going to get embarrassed. I'm looking at it now. I'm like, this is one of the more meaningful football games Carolina's played in November, probably in the last 5 or 6 years. Truly, I mean, we're looking at this as if they're able to somehow go out there and get a win, they got a chance to compete for the division, maybe even go to the playoffs. Who knows? But let's look at the numbers, right? Brock Purdy's going to play. 49ers are starting to get healthy on the offensive side of the ball with Brock Purdy, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, so on and so forth. George Kittle. The offensive line's still solid. I don't think it's great outside of Trent Williams. They still got Christian McCaffrey, who does it all, catching, running. He actually throw a little too. He can do it all as well. And his defense with a bunch of guys that I think a lot of people wouldn't be able to name are actually playing really good for Robert Saleh right now. They really are. And we're looking at a Panthers team that last week is coming off of one of their better passing games, which is one of the main struggles of the 49ers. They don't protect against the pass game very well unless they're getting after the quarterback, which Panthers offensive line at times has been questionable this year. But when the protection holds up, you know, who knows? Who knows? You know, if I'm the Panthers, I'm looking at trying to get Rico Dowdle going early, trying to get some easy throws, whether it's short or just some deeper concepts. We saw Bryce actually throw several passes more than 15 plus yards, and it worked really well against the Falcons last week. I would look to see them try to establish a run to open up those deep shots yet again. Tyrone McMillan is looking like number 8 overall pick. Xavier Legette looked solid last week. Jalen Coker had a couple good plays. Tommy Trimble played really good, along with Rico and Chuba having some nice games. But with all this being said, the Panthers defense might be shorthanded at the linebacker spot. Rosenboom and Trevin Wallace, both questionable. Don't know if they're going to play. That's your 2 starting outside linebackers, guys that are looking to, I say outside, interior, they kind of play all over the field. 2 guys that would help kind of contain Christian McCaffrey that might not play. If that's the case, I'm worried. So San Francisco's favored 7. I do think they're going to win the game, San Francisco. I think they're going to win 24-14. I think there will be times where the game is close, but I think Christian McCaffrey is going to be able to kind of get things going, get the ball rolling, and kind of be able to put it away for them, which sucks. I hate picking against the Panthers, but I got to recognize when a team is still better. Plus, who knows? If I had to put money on it, I'm putting money on the 49ers. But I'm not saying the Panthers are going to go out there and lose like 42-10. I think the Panthers got a good shot to keep it close if they can execute a game plan. like they did last week. If they execute a game plan, they can be right in it. But again, game plans are on paper, football's played on fields. That's how it rolls. And that's what I got for you for the NFL segment. Now we're going to transition on over into our college football, which I only got 4 games. 3 of them are actually big matchups. One of them's more of a little regional-ish bias. At 12 o'clock, we have number 22, Missouri, traveling to number 8, Oklahoma. The line right now is 7.5 in favor of the Sooners, Oklahoma. And right now, there's rumors going around that Missouri might have their starting quarterback, Bo Pribula, back. But right now, it's looking like the third string quarterback, which is who played last week against Mississippi State. And he didn't really do a whole lot. They were relying heavily on their run game last week. Ahmad Hardy, starting running back from Missouri, had a hell of a game last week. 300 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. I think 25, 30-ish carries. He had a monster game last week. So if it's the third string quarterback playing today or playing on Saturday, I don't think Missouri has a shot. Because all Oklahoma's going to do is load up the box and say, you're going to have to beat us through the air. And Oklahoma has a very good defense. So if it's to the point where Missouri cannot run the ball and they have to throw it consistently, I think Oklahoma is going to handily win this game. As long as, again, John Mateer doesn't turn the ball over a whole lot. But if the defense is constantly getting 3 and outs and Oklahoma's offense is constantly on the field, Missouri's defense is going to get worn down. They should be able to move the ball a bit, be able to just put some points on the board, maybe force some turnovers to get shorter field distances for Oklahoma's offense. I like Oklahoma to cover the spread here. I think Oklahoma wins 24-13 and to keep them right there controlling their destiny to make the college football playoff, which at one point we questioned if they were able to, but you beat Alabama. You're more so into your latter part of the schedule. You control your destiny. You win out, you're in. You're probably into the college football playoff. So just you got to go out there and handle business, handle your game plan on Saturday. The second 12 o'clock game I want to talk about is 2 unranked teams. We got Louisville traveling to Dallas, play the SMU Mustangs. And the reason why this is important is because SMU's 5-1, Louisville 4-3. Louisville is kind of out of, that's in conference records. So Louisville's kind of already out of the running for a potential ACC conference championship berth. SMU is still in the mix. SMU has a chance to potentially have an argument to get in because they're tied for first in the conference between them, Virginia, and Georgia Tech. Now, I don't know who has what tiebreakers over those 3 teams if they all stay undefeated. I do not know that off the top of my head. We'll have to look into that if SMU handles business, goes out there, and wins the game. And the way SMU has been moving the ball and has looked at times against better opponents, aka Miami, I think they have a very good shot to be able to win this game, contain Louisville, and put themselves in a position to where they have a chance to go play and get into the ACC championship. I like SMU enough to take them 34-24. I think it's going to be kind of a slugfest. But SMU, I just think, has the more dynamic quarterback in Kevin Jennings. And I think that's going to make the difference, truly, in this game. And you're at home, so you got your crowd on your side. Everything's bigger in Texas. I'm taking this as well. Give me SMU to win this game, move on to 6-1 in conference. Now we get to probably the biggest game of the day. 3:30 kickoff. Number 15 USC is traveling to Eugene, Oregon to play number 7 Oregon Ducks. And at first, I'm looking at this on paper and I'm like, okay, we got top 15 matchup here. 2 teams in the Big Ten trying to build on resumes, push for. We got one team that's trying to stay into the playoff contention, and another one's trying to push their way into it. And then you look at the line. The line is 10.5 in favor of Oregon. We're like, okay, well, I like what USC does a lot on offense. The defense is pretty solid. Oregon has been stumbling-ish at times. They've had a couple rough weeks of games. Why is this line like this? start looking through, you start looking back at film, and you realize there's one key factor going into this game. USC has one of the more low end rush defenses. Can't stop the run. Michigan ran all over them. Illinois was able to run all over them. There's been several teams that even weren't even in the top 25 that have ran all over USC. Even in games that they won, they've been ran all over by several teams. Oregon has the second best rushing offense in the league. They actually lead the league in rush yards per carry at 7.5. So now I understand, okay, that is why they're picking them 10.5. They think Oregon's going to go out there, run the ball, and just run all over USC. And at home, that type of weather, I don't blame them. I do think both teams have really good defenses. Oregon's is better. And for your weakness as a USC defender, USC team, is stopping the run. Well, that's your game plan right there. If you can't stop the run, Oregon's going to handily win this game. I understand Oregon's receivers are a little beat up, so they might already be looking to be run first. So if you're USC, if you don't stop the run, you don't really have a shot in this game. This is a game that you have to win if you want to push to get into the playoff. I mean, you're number 15 right now. If you win this game, I think you easily move into at least number 11, possibly higher. Because, I mean, this is number 7 Oregon. You would move into that spot to where, okay, they got several good quality ranked wins. They went on the road into Oregon and won. But that's only going to happen if they can stop the run. If Oregon runs on them all day, there's no chance. There's no chance. And I do think Oregon's going to establish a good run game and kind of run all over them. So I'm taking Oregon in this one, 38-28. USC does cover the spread, 10.5. They cover it, and they only lose by 10. But I do think Oregon's going to go out there, establish a run, and kind of put a lot of pressure on USC, and that's where you'll get your mistakes by their offense. And then we got the only decent 7 o'clock game. You have unranked Pitt traveling to number 16 Georgia Tech. The line is only 2.5 here. And at first you're like, hold on now. Unranked Pitt just got the break speed off of them by Notre Dame at home. Georgia Tech, who has been very solid. The only loss is to the NC State Wolfpack. Why is it only 2.5? They have one of the better overall explosive offenses. Their defense has been kind of questionable as of late. Started the year out really strong. As they've progressed, it's gotten a little questionable. They are very prone to, spotty coverage when it comes to the passing game. And Pitt's passing offense has been pretty effective. Early on in the Notre Dame game, it was pretty effective until the turnovers came. And I think Pitt's going to try and take advantage of that, which I don't blame them. But even if they take advantage of it, I think they got to keep the ball out of Haynes King's hand. Even though he's not the most efficient passer in terms of downfield and whatnot, he's very effective when it comes to the RPO game, quick game, or even if he has to get mobile with his legs. He's a very effective runner of the football. He, I would say, is somewhat of a game changer. He can keep the team in the game and be able, with his legs, to win them the game. We've seen it several times. He's ran for 100 yards a handful of times this year. I think this might be another one of those games because that Pitt defense, I understand they look pretty bad against Notre Dame. They are no slouches. They have a pretty good defense. But Georgia Tech's at home. I think the offense is really going to be the story of this game. I'm going to take Georgia Tech to win 30-27. I'll let Pitt keep it close, but give me Georgia Tech to win it. And those are my picks for this week. I do want to go over the bracket that most recently came out. I thought I have a photo. I do not. So let me pull it up real quick while I'm doing that. If there was a team that has a good matchup this week, I will talk about one other game that doesn't really matter a whole lot in terms of this per se. But Duke does go to Chapel Hill this week. They play UNC. Right now, Duke is 5.5 point favorite. And, in my eyes, Duke needs to win the game. If Duke doesn't win the game, it's kind of a loss, kind of a wash. At this, okay, this is just pictures of the whole ranking. I want the bracket. I want the bracket. I think Duke's offense is better of the two, and they should be able to handle business against a team like UNC. UNC's offense has not been very impressive. I'm just trying to find this bracket, and it's not working. Here we go. Latest bracket right here. But I think if Darian Mensah and the boys can just get flying around, get on them early and often, put more points up on the board, I think it's not even going to be close. But if they have the tendency to play down to their opponent, they've done it several times. I do think Duke's gonna win. Duke should win, become bowl eligible, especially before they have to play a Wake Forest team that's been surprisingly very good. But I'm not really super worried about this week. Duke should win. If Duke doesn't win, there needs to be serious conversation with coaching staff, player personnel, so on and so forth. But we'll get to that point once the games play. Now talk about the bracket. Because of the couple upsets last week, there has been some shift in the bracket a little bit, notably with Alabama losing to Oklahoma. That's where the shift kind of comes. So this is what the bracket is looking like right now. So we have your top 4 seeds are Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Georgia. Georgia took Alabama's spot. Then at number 5 you got Texas Tech. Number 6 you got Ole Miss. Number 7 you have Oregon. Number 8 you have Oklahoma. Number 9 you have Notre Dame. Number 10 is Alabama. Number 11 is still the Miami Hurricanes. And number 12 is Tulane, right? Because Tulane is your highest ranked Power 5 school. That's not in one of your Power 4 conferences. They're the highest ranked. So they're going to get it right now. Really, it's going to be whoever probably wins the American Conference, whether it's Tulane or what? It's a 3-man race between Tulane. Is it Tulane, ECU, and Navy? It's either Navy or North Texas. It's 1 and 2. So probably whoever wins that conference is going to be your 12th seed. The one that really grinds my gears, really gets me going, is the Miami Hurricanes, because they're picked to win the ACC. Miami right now doesn't have the easiest path to get to the ACC championship. They have 2 losses in conference. They would need several other teams to lose a second game in conference. They would need SMU to lose, Georgia Tech to lose, and Virginia to lose. They would need all 3 to lose, and Miami would have to win out to have a shot to even go to the ACC championship. They would probably need at least 2 of those teams to lose their next 2, and Miami win out. Which, again, who knows? I don't understand. I understand why they're doing it, just because they're looking at it like, okay, well, this Miami team still beat Notre Dame, so they have to be good. But the issue is they lost to inferior opponents in conference. So there's no way you can look at this and go, yeah, there would be the favorites get in. They don't even have a clear chance, clear shot to get into their conference championship game, let alone win it. Like this was a spot that was originally Virginia. Could be Georgia Tech. Still, SMU is in the running. It's one of them 3 teams that's going to take this spot, not Miami. And Miami is kind of at their ceiling. Even if Miami wins out, they're not going to get an at-large bid. They're not going to take an at-large bid over an Alabama or an Oregon or Notre Dame or Oklahoma or any of those teams. They're not going to. And 12 seeds already going to be reserved for whoever wins the American Conference. So why they have Miami in here representing the ACC, I don't understand. I don't know if they're doing it just because it's the biggest brand that's good or what. I don't know, but it's really getting on my nerves. Everything else, though, looks about right. Obviously, Texas Tech moves up because Georgia moved up. I would agree with that. Oklahoma jumped up, I think it was 6 spots. I think they were 14 last week, and now they're 8. I think it's rightfully deserved. You beat number 4 team in the country. on the road. I think it's well deserved. I do also believe Alabama still deserves to stay in the top 10 just because of how good they are. Their only losses has been to Florida State, which is still a weird loss, and then Oklahoma, who is a very good team. And the way the matchup is kind of looking, I like how everything's looking. I mean, your top four stay the same. Ohio State, Indiana, and A&M are still your 1, 2, 3. That fourth spot, I think the fourth spot's really going to go to the winner of the SEC, whether it's Georgia, possibly still Alabama, maybe even Ole Miss gets their way to the SEC championship and wins. I think that fourth spot is going to go to whoever wins the SEC, unless it's A&M. If it's A&M, it's probably whoever is the runner-up, unless it's Georgia or Alabama, because they would have 3 losses. So if Ole Miss were to win out and then not go to the SEC championship, and it's either Georgia or Bama that goes, it's probably going to be Ole Miss, just because they'd have one conference loss. But everything else makes sense, to me at least, right now. I see where the committee's head's at in terms of schedule and resumes. The only thing that gets confusing is I remember looking at this and I'm totally blanking. So Penn State's obviously not very good, but they're still giving credit to Oregon of going into Penn State and winning in overtime against them because they were still ranked. But they're not applying that to everybody, which is weird because there's been several teams to play against ranked opponents and lose, but now those ranked opponents are out of the rankings and it's not benefiting them. They're not giving them benefit of the doubt. That's been a little inconsistent with the committee so far. So it's just more so a matter of, are they playing favorites with the bigger names or what? So, that's where you can start throwing in your conference bias. I will always say, even though I don't want there to be any conference bias, I think there always will be, especially when it comes to the Big Ten and the SEC, just because of the football brand names that are in it. But I do still think, for the most part, they got the bracket right for this week. We'll see what happens next week. Maybe there's another upset or two that we're not aware of. Maybe USC does beat Oregon. That would shake up a lot of things. But we'll have to wait and see. And that's all I got for you guys. Got a nice little beefy video. Gotta love it. You'd be able to sit down, enjoy a nice little meal. Maybe you got a little car ride, whether it's to from work, who knows. But if you're new around here, subscribe. Hit the notifications button. It lets you know when we're posting more content, trying to push as much out as possible, trying to be as formal as possible. If you've been around for a minute, like the video, leave a comment, any hot takes, maybe, if you take some of these picks, use them in a parlay, let me know if it works. Let me know how you liked it. Share it with a friend if you think somebody would enjoy this. Until next time, deuces.